From unsolved mysteries to unexplained phenomena, from comedy gold to relationship fails, Amazon Music's got the most ad-free top podcasts, included with Prime. Because the only thing that should interrupt your listening is, well, nothing. Download the Amazon Music app today.
Okay, let's dive in. Picture this. A single high school in New York City, and its alumni. Notorious B.I.G., Jay-Z, Busta Rhymes, and maybe DMX.
It sounds, well, almost too good to be true, doesn't it? Like some kind of hip-hop origin story myth.
Exactly. That kind of talent, all walking the same halls. You have to wonder what that energy was like, what stories came out of that place.
It's a really powerful image. And it's definitely a story, a narrative that you hear a lot.
Right. And that's what we're unpacking today in this deep dive. We've got a great stack of sources here. Articles from places like Capital XTRA, Christopher Piersnick's blog, Showbiz Cheat Sheet, DJ Booth, Rolling Stone.
The Urban Daily, Daily Rap Facts, even a piece called Did DMX Graduate from High School, and a YouTube transcript. Lots to sift through.
Definitely. And our mission today is to really look at these sources, understand the connections between these huge artists and their high school days, and specifically, we need to tackle that big claim. We're all four of them there together at the same time.
Yeah, we want to give you the clearest possible picture based on what we found. Sort of a shortcut through all the noise,
We'll try to cut through any confusion and see what holds up.
Highlighting those early days, but also, crucially, pointing out where the story might get a bit fuzzy, maybe where some myths have crept in.
Okay, so let's start with the most solid ground. George Westinghouse Career and Technical Education High School in Brooklyn.
Right. That name pops up again and again. Capital XTRA, Piersnick, DJ Booth, Daily Rap Facts, Showbiz Cheat Sheet, the Urban Daily. They pretty much all agree on this part.
Jay-Z, Biggie, Busta Rhymes, they were definitely students there. Some sources say downtown Brooklyn. I think one mentioned Harlem, maybe. But Westinghouse is the constant.
And it being a vocational school, that's interesting too, isn't it? Maybe that kind of environment, less strictly academic, allowed different talents to percolate.
Could be. Maybe it valued different things, like that artistic expression, the street smarts that are so key in hip-hop.
And Daily Rap Facts mentions they were there around the same time. That phrase, around the same time, is, well, it's a bit vague, but important.
It is. And it wasn't just about sharing hallways, apparently. There's the legendary story, the rap battle, Jay-Z versus Busta Rhymes, right there in the school cafeteria.
Oh, yeah, that story is everywhere. DJ Booth, Daily Rap Facts, Rolling Stone, the Urban Daily, Showbiz Cheat Sheet, they all talk about it. It's like a foundational moment.
Busta's talked about it quite a bit, hasn't he? How Jay-Z kind of smoked him with the speed rap.
He said Jay-Z had that fast style down already, and losing that battle actually pushed Busta to work on his own speed and delivery. Yeah, those early battles were like training grounds.
For sure. And Jay-Z even kind of confirmed it, right, on Jimmy Kimmel. He didn't say much, just gave that look and mouthed me.
Yeah, classic Jay-Z. It paints this amazing picture of these future icons battling it out over lunch trays.
The energy must have been incredible. Even just in passing, these guys were already sharpening their skills, competing.
Absolutely. So Jay-Z and Busta, clearly interacting, competing. What about Biggie in that mix?
Well, that's interesting, too. Busta apparently said it's in DJ Booth and Daily Rap Facts that he didn't know Biggie rhymed in school.
Really? Why not?
He said they were busy skipping class and bullshitting, basically, which, sounds pretty relatable for high school.
Yeah, it does. So maybe Biggie wasn't showcasing his skills in the cafeteria battle scene.
Seems like it. One source mentioned he kept his music more on the street than in the schoolhouse back then.
Okay, so his development might have been happening more outside the school gates, even though he was enrolled.
But he was definitely there. The sources consistently put Biggie at Westinghouse with Jay-Z and Busta. Showbiz Cheat Sheet, the Urban Daily, they all link him.
And there was that other detail, right? About him transferring.
Yes, good point. One piece mentioned he actually started at a different school, Bishop Laughlin Memorial High, before transferring to Westinghouse.
Okay, so that adds another layer. He was there with them, but maybe for a shorter period, or they overlapped only after he transferred in. The exact timeline gets a bit more specific.
Exactly. It means their time together wasn't necessarily all 4 years or however long they were each there.
Right. Okay, so we have Jay-Z, Busta, Biggie, all at Westinghouse, interacting to varying degrees around the same time, though maybe not identically overlapping the whole time.
Now, DMX. This is where the popular story hits a potential snag.
Yeah, this is the crucial point, isn't it?
Okay.
Because a lot of sources do include him. Capital XTRA, Piersnick that did DMX Complete High School piece, the Urban Daily, even that YouTube transcript. They list him as part of that Westinghouse group.
It makes the story even more incredible for absolute legends.
It really does. But then you have the DJ Booth article, and it throws up a big red flag.
What does it say?
It explicitly mentions conflicting sources about DMX even attending Westinghouse. And maybe more importantly, it points out that Jay-Z, Busta, and Biggie haven't actually mentioned him being there when they talk about those days.
Oh, that's significant. The silence from the other three.
It is. If he was part of that same scene, you'd think his name might have come up in their stories, right? Like the rap battle.
You would think. And then there's that other article, Did DMX Complete High School?
Right. What did that one say?
It puts DMX somewhere else entirely for freshman year Yonkers Middle High School. Says he was a track star there, actually, but had issues with the grades and attendance. It even mentions confusion about where he was born.
So we have one set of sources looping him into Westinghouse and another placing him in Yonkers, at least initially, plus a lack of corroboration from the guys who were definitely there together.
Exactly. It really complicates that neat narrative of all four future stars roaming the same halls simultaneously.
It does. It suggests that while the story is popular, the evidence for DMX being at Westinghouse with the others, sharing those specific high school moments, is shaky. It might be a case of timelines not quite lining up, or maybe just conflating different people who attended the same school over different periods.
So the widely told version might be stretching the truth a bit, at least regarding DMX's presence alongside the others at that specific time.
It seems that way, based on digging into these specific accounts. The connection for Jay-Z, Busta, and Biggie at Westinghouse is strong. The DMX part is where it gets less certain.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up. What are the key takeaways from this deep dive?
Well, first, it's pretty clear. Jay-Z, Busta Rhymes, and Notorious B.I.G. did attend George Westinghouse together around the same time. That school really was this incredible incubator, however brief their overlaps might have been.
And we have those great stories like the Jay-Z versus Busta battle that give us a glimpse into that environment. Real interactions happen there.
Absolutely. But the second big takeaway is the question mark over DMX, including him in that specific shared experience at Westinghouse with the other three. That's where the evidence gets thin.
Right. Conflicting reports about where he went to school, and crucially, no real mention of him from Jay-Z, Busta, or Biggie when they reminisce about those days together.
So the popular narrative of all four isn't fully supported by the details we found in these sources, especially regarding the shared timing and interaction at Westinghouse.
It really shows how stories, even widely repeated ones about famous figures, can have these hidden layers or inaccuracies, doesn't it? You have to look closely.
Definitely. It highlights why checking multiple sources and looking for corroboration is so important. Simple stories are often, well, less simple when you dig in.
So maybe a final thought for you listening. This whole thing makes you wonder, right? How much does being in the exact same physical place, like a high school, truly shape these kinds of connections?
Yeah, the Westinghouse link for three of them is undeniable. But the uncertainty around DMX maybe pushes us to think about other factors. Broader scenes, maybe. The city itself. Individual drive. Maybe their paths were more parallel than intersecting at that specific school.
What other stories that seem straightforward might actually have these kinds of hidden twists if you looked closer? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.